actor Rick Mail. The TV and film star who was born near Harlow died after coming home from a run on Monday. 4 years ago, Rick Mail recorded an England World Cup song called Noble England. Now attempts are underway to get it into this week's top 10, or even to number 1. Back in 2009, John and Tracy Mortar from Southwood and Ferris ran a successful campaign to get the band Rage Against the Machine to the Christmas number 1, stopping the X Factor's Joe McElderry in the process. John's now working to repeat that feat with the Rick Mail tune. He told me earlier how it came about.
To be honest, I only heard about what had happened on Twitter, and within, I'd say, about half an hour of the news coming out, I suddenly started getting tweets and emails to my inbox going, "Oh, hey, he had a World Cup song. We didn't know that. Let's get behind it. And why don't we try and push it to number 1?" And as a sort of an irony to the whole thing, I actually worked on the original single in 2010. So I couldn't say no, really. I mean, it was kind of like, well, I was a big fan of Rick's. I worked with him briefly, and it just fit into place, really. So, yeah, sad news, but hey, and it right near the World Cup as well, which is another cruel irony, really.
Yeah, there's almost something written in the stars about this single being a success now, isn't there?
Well, yeah, and it's also like he's got a bit of a glint in his eye up there, sort of, he'd almost timed it to perfection a little bit, because he was really, really keen with the single in 2010. But the problem we had was that there was so many other World Cup songs out that year. It really was a lot. I got sent loads in my inbox that year, and it kind of got bogged down with the rest of them. So, yeah, it kind of got lost as such, which is a shame. But, the script seems to be there, yeah.
So back in 2010, that was when the whole Rage Against the Machine Christmas number 1 had just happened. You were obviously seen as a bit of a go-to guy when it comes to promoting singles.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Rage Against the Machine kind of changed everything for me, really. And when we originally got contacted by Rick and Rick's team in early 2010, so Rage had just happened pretty much within a month or so. And, we were very lucky to be getting offers from here, there and everywhere going, "Oh, hey, can you work on our single?" And, "Hey, Ronnie Wood of the Rolling Stones likes what you did, and they're going to release something next year. Do you want to join up with that?" And, just crazy time. And but when we had the message that Rick was doing something, I mean, we weren't going to say no. I mean, I was a huge fan of Rick since I was 9 years old, so there was no way I was going to say no to it.
What was it like working with him?
Wow. Yeah. Well, the story is this. We spent a day working with Rick at Leeds Castle in Kent, and Rick was dressed for the occasion in a big regal king's outfit with a big cloak and crown, King Henry V, I think he was meant to be. And the idea was we were going to take various shots. My wife Tracy was taking various shots of him for the single cover around Leeds Castle. And we actually, because it's such a big grounds, they lent us a golf cart. So what we could do was travel around the various parts of the grounds and take different pictures with Rick. Now, the problem with that is when you sort of take Rick Mail on a golf cart dressed as a king, we drove past a lot of holiday makers and tourists, and what Rick decided to do as we were driving past, I'm sure it was a coachload of Americans. I think they're American for their accents. We drove past in a golf cart, and he was sitting in the back with this big cloak flowing behind him, and he suddenly starts waving at people and been doing this very regal hello subjects, lovely day. And oh goodness, I mean, it was really, really funny, and he genuinely was a funny guy to work with, very professional, and a really nice chap to chat to. But he just was a funny guy, and he is like that off the camera as well. He really is a bit mad, a bit crazy, but yeah, it was wonderful, and we ended up having cups of tea and sandwiches with him at the end, and lovely day. Yeah.
Now, ever since the Rage Against the Machine campaign, pretty much I can't pick up a newspaper without seeing your name mentioned in it, linked to some campaign or other. I don't know how many of those have actually been your campaigns, but what does it take to get a single into the top 10 now?
Well, I think it's the same as always. I think for it to work, you have to have something that the people want at the end of the day. It's no good just saying, oh, hey, you know, this was a great song and it never got to number one, so let's try and get it to number one. Well, no, sorry, that just doesn't work. You know, the public aren't that bothered. But with campaigns that have worked for me, such as Rage Against the Machine, you know, we were thousands of people that were angry and frustrated at something. When I worked on the Justice Collective, the Hillsborough single, that went to number one because, you know, there was a strive for justice that had not been served for 25 years. So there was always something underlying.
Motivation.
Yeah, kind of. And again, with Rick's single this week, yeah, I mean, I've been told by a few sources that we may have hit top 5 today, so it could go even higher. So we'll see how it goes. But I think, you know, it has to be wanted. You can't just say, hey, I use social media and I'm going to get a record into the charts. It doesn't quite work like that. You know, you've got to have something, you've got to make it three-dimensional, if that makes sense.
It's also got to be, I would have thought, a single focus, because Rage Against the Machine, it was one of its kind that year. The year after, there was about 8 different records trying it.
There was, yeah. And, yeah, I mean, the year after, funny enough, 2010, I remember it very well because there was lots of different campaigns that had cropped up. And I got linked with, I think, all of them. And but bizarrely, the one that did the best in 2010 was one of my best mates, actually. He did a campaign for, do you remember that really annoying Surfing Bird? Bird is the word.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, which was Family Guy made quite famous again. Well, my mate Stevie, who's in Colchester, another Essex boy, he did that campaign for a bit of a laugh and a bit of a giggle, and I gave him a few helpers and a few tips, and I was stealthily helping him a little bit, and he went to number 3. So you know, not bad, but yeah, I think even if there are other campaigns going on, I think you have to try and just make yours bigger and better and make people want to join yours. Doesn't matter if there's 100 campaigns. If you've got the one that, you know, people think, yeah, that sounds good, I want to get involved with that because I want that to happen, then, you know, hopefully you can gain traction and it eventually will become the only one, you know. And thankfully, this year, it seems that of all the sort of the football songs that everyone's trying to chart, including Monty Python and well, Gary Barlow's not even putting his out now. They've shelved it. So yeah, and we're the best-selling football song. So yeah, it's great. Yeah.
Simon Cowell allegedly offered you a job at the time. Did that ever come to anything? Did you turn him down?
We turned him down. Yes. I mean, look, we had a Facebook group campaign which had gone from me to 1.6 million people in 3.5-4 weeks or so. We couldn't turn around and to everyone and say, oh, hey guys, thanks for your help with getting it number 1 and, you know, making it work. We're now going to go and work for Simon Cowell. No, there's just no way that was going to happen. He did ring me a couple of times. We had, to be fair, a couple of good chats on the phone, but no, there was no way I was going to work for him. No way.
Was he a nice guy?
He was, actually, and one thing that was interesting was that he actually said, look, hands up, I've been in the music industry for, I think, what you said, 20 or 30s, I don't know how many years it was, and I've had a lot of people trying to take me down, a lot of people trying to outdo me, and with all due respect, you're just some guy from the middle of Essex that's not even in the music industry, and you've gone and donked me one, you know. You're the one that's actually sort of, you know, beating me at my own game. So he was to a point, he was quite humble, actually, and he offered me out for a drink in London, and yeah, occasionally I'll get the odd sort of Happy New Year texts from him. So yeah, he's okay. I've never had anything personally against him, and yeah, he does his own thing, and good luck to him.
And has there ever been anyone approach you and you've just taken one look and gone, no, either because it won't work or because you just don't want to do it?
Yes. Yeah. No, I mean, you have to have a gut feeling. I trust my gut feeling on a lot of things. And yeah, there's been a lot of campaigns that I just didn't feel was right for me to get involved with for one reason or another. It might be a really big song. It might be a big artist. It might be, hey, it might even be the record company themselves going, hey, yeah, we've got this big artist and we want to do this. And I have turned down some quite big people just because I couldn't see how it was going to work. I couldn't see what it was going to add, what I could add to it. So yeah, there is a lot. But to be honest with you, with campaigns like Rage Against the Machine, I mean, I was nothing special. I just had an idea and did it, and just, you know, knuckled down and did it. And anyone can do it. Anyone can, you know. It's just that I sort of found a way of doing it, and I've sort of kept doing it to this day, really, you know.
Well, it's the danger is you take up one of those offers, you could end up being the person that the next John Mortar wants to knock down.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, there's a few of them out there already, which is fine, you know, because I'm still like that. I'm still trying to take on the big man and see if I can, you know, outdo people. So yeah, and people are trying to sort of outdo me on any of the things I've been up to, and that's fine. I've got nothing against that at all. Nothing against that at all.
John Mortar from Southwood and Ferris on trying to get Rick Mayall's Noble England to the number 1 spot.
This is BBC Essex.
6:30, let's get the headlines from Colleen Harris.